in front. Take a breath in, lift your chest. And root down through your hips, your sits bones. Inhale to center, reach up. Exhale, right hand comes down, left arm goes long. Come back up to the middle. Hands to your heart. As you breathe out, just drop your chin. Change your legs. The opposite one is going to come in front. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, turn to the left. Lengthen your spine. Come back up to the middle. And over to the right. Again to the middle. And exhale down over the other knee. Lift up your chest. Lower down. Come back up to the center. And take your left hand beside you, right arm goes long. Come back up to the middle. And gather your hands to your heart. Let's start the class here. Take a big breath in. Out through your mouth. The next exhale will be an Om. Let's breathe in. Good. We're going to play with a little bit of fire because you know that I like that element. It serves me well. Come into all fours, please. Into tabletop. All right. So just inhale, lift your sit bones, your chest. And when you exhale, drop your head back. Adding additional movement from side to side. Rocking forward and back. Now I'll warn you for this practice. My memory works better when I watch people do the poses. When I do it, I don't always remember my sides super well, so you might notice some mistakes. Forgive me, please. Drop your head. All right, inhale, neutral position with your spine, and take your left foot back behind you. Extend your right hand also forward, and if you want to play a little bit with balance, lift your right foot off the floor. Now really feel like you're sort of lifting up into your mid-back. Pull your navel to your spine, and activate your fingers and toes. Now inhale, look forward even slightly up. Put your right foot on the ground and pull your elbow and knee till they touch in the middle. Inhale, extend slightly, lifting up. And then exhale to pull it in and touch. Inhale, lift. And exhale, everything comes to the middle. One more, lift up. And pull it in. Take your left foot back, your right hand down, and lift your left arm up, but taking your right foot a little behind you. Helps with your balance, and then extend. Bend your left knee, and you don't have to bend this knee. You can keep it lifted, and you can even put your left foot on the floor if you would like to. All right? Otherwise, holding the foot and start to lift your chin up towards the ceiling. Maybe you can look up. And then it's always a gentle release. It's always coming out of this gently. The left foot can go on the floor. And the next time you inhale, slowly lift up and reach over to the left. Left hand comes on the side of your leg, gate pose. And just take your right shoulder back just a little bit. All right, and then windmill, so the right hand touches first, then left. Square off the hips, lift your left foot up. Now from here, take your elbows and put them down where elbows where your hands were. And what's important is that you don't have your hands folding in and you're starting to sort of hunch and round. Pull your heart through and forward, flatten your hands to the ground. And when you exhale, pull in and round. Squeeze. Then inhale and lift the foot up. And so as you continue to do this movement, just really notice that your elbows and hands don't shift around. So there's an element of really like hugging into the midline and staying contracted in the core to pull in to center line. That's helpful. Last time to pull in. Good. And then extend the leg back. Left hand down where the elbow was, right hand down. Let's step the left foot forward. Dag nabbit, Sarah and her knees on the ground, hey? So grab a blanket, put something under your knee if your knee is struggling. Even lift your right knee off the ground, okay? Come up till your hands touch the right knee, maybe interlock the fingers. And when you inhale, push the knee away, pull the head back, even drop your head. And exhale, tuck the tailbone forward and drop the chin down. Come back up and push the knee away as you do this. And when you exhale, it's like you're starting to curl in, hunch. 2 more. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, pulling the tail forward, dropping the head. 1 more time. And around. All right, inhale, take your hands to the floor, lift your back knee off the ground, maybe pull yourself forward and back a few times. You can start to straighten the left leg a little bit too if you want to. Pulling the hips back. You can see that I'm not lifting my hips up high. I'm staying on a fairly neutral plane here. Just sort of rocking myself forward and back. Yes, you can use blocks if you need to. All right, and then find a neutral low lunge position where the right hand is below your shoulder. When you inhale, sweep your hand forward first, and then exhale, open your chest to the left. Fire through your back leg as you do this. Look up, take a full breath in. And when you exhale, both your knees back into that tabletop position around your back, your spine. And then inhale, neutral position. Flatten your hands, straighten your arms, right foot goes back. So some fire in the core as you lift your left foot. And your left hand can also extend forward. And so you balance. You feel like your sternum is lifting up towards the sky. You're keeping your fingers and your toes alive, activated. Let your left foot come to the ground. Lift your chest up a little higher and then pull it in to the center line. Elbow, knee touch. Inhale, lift up. And exhale to bring it in. Keep going with the rhythm of your breath. Hopefully you have some music going. And I can share my playlist too if you want. Just reach out and comment after you watch this video. Last time, pull it in. Inhale, lift. Right foot stays up, left hand goes down, and just take your left foot off your mat. Keep your right foot up and lift your right arm. Now you can keep the foot on the ground if you did it on the other side. Otherwise, bend your right knee, hold the foot, and start to kick back behind you. Lift your heart. Look up. And then gently releasing the foot always, never like a slingshot. Right foot down, left arm up. So gate pose, just a nice long extension for the left side body. Take a full breath in. And then windmill, so the left hand first, then right hand. Lift the left. See, already, what did I do, right? All right, so we're gonna take the right leg up towards the sky. Left elbow, then right elbow. Down where your hands were. Take an inhale. Really feeling like you're holding a beach ball between your elbows, and then pull the right knee in to round your back. And then inhale, lift. And keep going with this action. Inhale up and exhale in. One more time. Okay, lift your right foot, left hand where your elbow was, right hand also, and then step the right foot forward. All right, so you can just find that knee to lift a few times if you need to give it a release. And then come to take the right hand to your knee, left hand to the knee, interlock the fingers and push your knee away as you look back. Exhale, pull your tail forward, drop your head. Inhale, lift your chest, push your knee away and back. More full cycle here. You're going to exhale and drop your head back. Good. And then come to a middle position, hands on the floor, lift your back knee and maybe a little bit of rocking forward and back. So not really lifting the hips, more like just pulling them, going forward and back. And you can rock into this a little bit if your hamstrings are feeling limber to do so. All right, and then find a neutral position, left hand down below the shoulder. Inhale, right arm forward in front. Then exhale, arm comes up towards the sky. Take a full breath, lifting up, engage through your back leg. Good, and then look to the left long edge of your mat, and you're just gonna turn your toes to face that direction. Now, in this position, take your hands under your shoulders, generous bend of your knees, lift your chest, look forward, and then exhale and go down. So generously bending your knees to support your back body, finding some movement. We're going to start to flow here right away, so you can invite that water-like quality into the tissues of your body. Move side to side. Right foot, left foot, right foot. Your breath is key, so breathing in and out of your nose. All right, position the right toes to face the front. The front is going to be all sides at some point, so I'll take you through that. Right toes forward, left foot meets the right foot. Feet can be hip distance apart. I like my big toes touching and the heels to press down. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. All right, inhale, reverse dive up with a straight spine. So bend your knees, lift up. And exhale, pull your hands to your heart, Samastiti. Inhale, arms up to the sky, look up. And as you exhale, dive forward, lead with the heart, bend your knees. Inhale, halfway lift with your heart. And when your hands touch the floor, step your left foot back. Your knee can be on the floor or not. I like to put my knee down. Right hand to the knee, left arm up. And exhale, reach over to the right side with your fingers. And your right hand can go to the floor, and you can take this further, even lifting your left knee off the ground. Take a full breath in, and when you exhale, travel to the left side of your mat and point your toes to the side. Take an inhale, halfway lift. And when you exhale, look to the left foot, reach your hand around it. Inhale, sweep the left arm to the sky and put your hand on your back, your sacrum, your low back. Create some length by lifting your chest. Press into the outer edge of the right foot. Take a full breath in and turn to the left foot. All your toes are pointing to that direction. Exhale, step. Right foot meets left. Fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Now a reverse dive up Bend your knees, reach. And hands meet your heart for Samastitihi. Arms up, breathe in. Exhale, dive forward and breathe out. Halfway lift. Good, right foot, step it back and drop your knee or not, up to you. Left hand on the knee, right arm reaches up to the sky and reach long to the left side. Left hand can go on the floor and lift your back knee. One more full breath. So that when you exhale, you turn to the long right side edge of your mat. Take an inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, turn to the right foot, put your hand around it. Around your ankle, bend your right knee and lift your right arm up, then bring it to your low back. Additional movements, like totally acceptable. Play with these movements. Find your own personal freedom in your body. That's what this is about. Okay, turn to the right long or short edge of your mat and exhale, step forward, fold. All right, we'll add on to that. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, dive forward. Reverse dive up. Your heart is leading you. Always, even off your mat. Hands come to your heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive forward, fold. Halfway lift. Now hands come in front of you, and before we just step the left foot back, we're going to lift the left foot up. All right, and so putting your hands more in front of you, bending your right knee to help with this, and then just playing a little bit with lifting the left hip. And in order to lift the left hip, you got to put a little bit of attention in the right hip. And if you want to start to play a little bit with this, now not everybody's body is sort of in this position to go, like, this might not feel good right now. And if it does, well, enjoy it. Just be sure you're really pulling everything into your core and you're firing through that right hip. And you can also be here. You can also just be in this position, hands on blocks. All right. Take a full breath in, and when you exhale, long step back to that low lunge. Maybe this time keep the knee off the floor. Inhale, arms come forward. And then hands come to your heart center. Let's inhale, rise up all the way into this lunge position. All right, take your arms up towards the sky. Hands to your heart, interlock the fingers. Press your palms forward. Lift up and over to the right. Now, keep the action in your back leg. Take a full breath in and all the way out. Come back up to center, and then turn to that long edge of your mat. Take an in-breath, and when you exhale, bend your knees, reach forward. Now stop when you are halfway forward. Now for this position, you got to bend your knees. You got to press into the outer edges of your feet and feel the lift of your heart as you do this. Bend your left knee. Keep your heel on the ground, though. And then bend your right knee. Keep your heel on the ground. So these movements might be really small. Your arms might start to lift up, and your hips will stay low. And you can move with control, engaging your legs, your core. Good. Take an inhale, reach up and straighten out your legs. Good. And then hands come to your hips. Bring your heels in and bend your knees. All right, put your hands on your thighs. Drop your left shoulder to your right knee. Push the left knee away. And then come back to the middle and go to the other side. Side to side. All right, some flow, some movement. Some opening through the hips. Hinge forward. Bring your heels back out. Point your toes in. All right. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk your hands to the left foot and point your toes to face the front of the room. Also lift your back right heel. Hands come to the ground and step back to high plank. Pull your heart forward. Everyone put your knees on the ground and lower yourself down to the floor. Now a little cobra, which means your elbows stay bent and you're just lifting your chest. Lower down as you exhale. Straighten your legs. Press under the tops of your feet. Lower down. So for these next 3, think about pressing your pubic bone into the ground, pulling the shoulders back as you lift your heart. Press your hands to the floor and keep them flat. And for this last one, intentionally, but with softness, slide your shoulders down. Maybe tuck your toes under and play with lifting your hips up. Take your shoulders back. And then pull your navel towards your spine. Lift your hips into a downward facing dog. First one. Bend your knees and shift your hips from side to side. And we'll take the hips into a neutral position. Lift your right leg up towards the sky. Take a full breath in, and when you exhale, knee comes forward, squeeze it in, and step into the lunge. Crescent lunge, arms come up. And then exhale, left hand comes down. Sweep the right hand back now and lift open your chest. Look up. Exhale, forward with the right hand and step, feet touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Reverse dive up, lift up. Hands to your heart, Samastiti. Here, arms up, breathe in. Other side, dive forward, breathe out, bend your knees. Halfway lift. And step the right foot back. Keep your knee off the floor. Let your hips be low. Inhale, arms come forward. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, chest comes up. Let's interlock the fingers and press your palms forward. Lift up towards the sky and over towards the left. Some action and fire through the back leg. Some leveling of the hips, left hip back. Take a full breath in. And keep your hands but positioned to the long edge of your mat. Turn your toes in. Inhale, chest up and hinge forward halfway. Push your hands forward and bend the left knee. Bend the right knee. And now you can start to move a little bit. If you want to bring your hands to the back of your head. If you want to play with this movement of your spine, you can do that too. And just feel this foundation. The legs are your foundation. Your upper body's free to move because your legs have you. Hands to the floor. Just position your toes facing the right short edge of your mat. Right toes come forward. All right, lower the hips. Inhale, your arms come up. Good, and then take your left hand down, right hand down, and step back to high plank. Pull your heart forward and bend your knees to the ground, lower yourself down. Now we're gonna work into the shoulders a little bit before we just jump into chaturanga. Take your fingers off your mat and drop your left shoulder. Look to the right, then drop your right shoulder. Look to the left. And that's it. It's like just creeping your shoulders to the ground one at a time. Moving your neck. And lifting your heart up as much as you want to, too. Again, it's so much about feeling the postures in yoga. And then just change the direction. Roll the shoulder back. And just change the direction that you're moving. All right. And then find a neutral position. Now take the front of your shoulder heads down. Push into the pads of your fingers, the fingertips. Take your shoulders back and start to push away the floor. stop before your low back says it hurts. No pain here. And as you pull the shoulders back, maybe lift your pinky fingers, your ring fingers, middle fingers. Can you lift your index fingers and just fly up? Lower yourself down. Hands come under your shoulders. Now, setting up for cobra, your shoulder heads come back, tops the feet on the ground, and we'll keep some action. This is cobra. So we are actively waking up the back body. Take an inhale, and if you want to go into an upward facing dog, go for it. And then exhale into a downward facing dog. To drop your head, to move your legs and your hips. And then the left leg, you can lift it up towards the sky. Take a full breath in. Look forward, step. Keep your right hand on the ground below your shoulder. Inhale, your left arm comes up. A nice opening twist. Full breath in. And then exhale, hand comes down, step forward. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Now we're going to bend the knees and lean back into the heels. So if your feet are apart, so are your knees. If your feet are together, so are your knees. Lift your arms up towards the sky. All right, and then take your hands behind your head like you're going to do a sit-up. Let your elbows fly out. And feel your heart lifting, but your low ribs pulling down. Bend your knees. Let your left elbow drop towards the ground as your right elbow lifts. Come back into a neutral position and right elbow drops. Left elbow lifts. And then to the middle. Now, with a cyclical breath, your body follows along in its rhythm. So the inhale brings you back to center, and the exhale puts your side body in some extension. And we'll just do one more cycle. Dropping the left elbow to middle, dropping the right elbow. And then just keep your knees bent and lift your arms up towards the sky. This is the mighty thunderbolt. Let the shoulders soften. You can take your hands open a little bit wider. And as you lean back, just sit down a little bit lower. And as you lean back, also let your shoulders move with you, pulling the shoulders back ever so slightly. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, fold forward. Now lift your right leg up. In this standing split, lift the hip. And again, it's just like the other side. It's like feeling this playful movement work for you. And if that means you kind of lift and extend the right arm as well, you can play with that. And if you would rather stay in more of a modified version of the standing split, you can do that too. All right. A couple more breaths. And feet together, breathe out. Take an inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, you can step or hop back to high plank. Pull your heart forward, lower halfway. This is chaturanga. An upward facing dog where you roll to the top of your feet. You can do a little cobra too. And back to a downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Bend your knee, open your hip. And find the outer edge of the left foot. So you can stay like this. You can lift your right arm also. Just for a moment. And then coming into a low lunge where the right foot steps forward. Drop your left knee to the ground. Right hand to the knee, left arm comes up. And twist to the right. Left elbow touches your knee. Now your hands can meet together in prayer. And your choice if you want to lift your back knee off the ground. Go for it. And then you're going to pull everything in towards your navel. And when you inhale, rise up to stand. When you exhale, reach your hands back and your heart forward. And as you inhale, lift the left foot up. Activate your left foot. Now let's press through the left heel. Pull your navel in towards your spine and lengthen. Pull the crown of your head straight out in front of you. Hands come to your heart. And when you inhale, stand up. Pull your left knee to the sky. The right hand will meet the outside of your knee. You can straighten your left leg if you want. Left arm goes back. You can keep your left knee bent too. And then it's an opening, like a butterfly wing is going to open. This is the left knee. And you can first step back, or you can keep your knee lifted as you move into half moon. And so half moon pose, where you're sturdy on this right leg, where you hover the right hand, or you place it on the floor. And the left arm can float up, or you can keep it on your hip. Up to you. Everyone's going to bend the right knee and quietly, slowly step back into warrior two. Arms reach out. Relax your shoulders. Take your right palm up, inhale, reverse your warrior. And when you exhale, elbow touches your knee. And left arm reaches long. Extend through this side. Lift your left heel, turn as you pull your left hand forward and twist. Drop your left elbow to your knee. One more time, twist on this side. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, turn to the left long edge of your mat and point your toes to go there. Now, halfway lift of your chest. And when you exhale, come down. Now, if you can easily have the top of your head on the floor, it's kind of difficult for me to do this because of the mic. So I'm cueing you to go into a headstand. So feel free to lift up. It sort of messes with my mic a little bit. So enjoy that for 3 more full breaths. Wonderful place just to do a forward fold. And then bringing your feet to the floor if they are flying up over your head. Turn to your left foot. Pivot so all your toes face the front or left short edge of your mat. And step back for high plank. Lower halfway down for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And pull back to downward facing dog. Drop your head. Press your hands into the floor and lift your left leg. Now, bend your left knee, opening the hip, or find the outer edge of the right foot. And lift your left arm when you're ready. On your next exhale, it's a turn forward and a step. Drop your back knee to the floor. Inhale, rise up with your hands. And then hands come to your heart and twist to the left. Right elbow touches your knee and twist. Now you can keep your back knee on the floor or you can lift it. You can bring your hands a little closer together in prayer. Okay, and then look down and bring your hands in front. Lift the right leg off the ground. And so as you fly now, pull your hands towards your heart and feel this extension from the right heel to the crown of your head. Airplane pose. Lower the right hip a little bit. Keep breathing. On your next inhale, lift your right knee up towards your chest, and the left hand can reach for your knee as you look over past your right fingers. You can also straighten your right leg if you want to. All right, and then bend the right knee. And you can have your hands on your hips, but you just sort of butterfly the knee open. You might need to put your foot on the ground for a moment or two. Half moon. And this is where something, your hand on something, comes in handy. So regrounding whenever you need to. And when you're ready, your hands can open up. Now remember that when you're balancing and you're moving your gaze around, it's challenging your balance. It's making it just a little harder. So if you want to find that center, maybe look at one place, pull into your midline, hold for 3, breathe for 2. And then slowly bend your left knee and step back into warrior 2. Take your left palm and face it up. As you inhale, reach it back. And when you exhale, left elbow comes to your knee and side long angle. Reach your right hand long. Pull your left hip under. And then start to lift your right heel, extend the right arm forward, and touch the elbow outside your knee. Back into that twist, lifting the right heel. Fire through the right leg. All right, and then turn to the right long edge of your mat. Lift your hips up and forward fold. All right, now take your left hand. You're going to reach around your right ankle. And now from here, right hand can creep along the floor in front of your head. And you can turn. So you're lifting your gaze under your right armpit. You're balancing your hips, finding a little bit of movement there. And then change right hand around left ankle. Left hand over your head. Think about pulling your right shoulder away from your left hip. And then lift your gaze and turn yourself to the right big foot, and step back for high plank, chaturanga, lower down. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. And when you exhale, bend your knees, look forward, hop, or step forward. Take an inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale and fold. Reverse dive up, lift up, reach your arms. And just take your right hand down. It's like you're holding a tray. Reach back for the right foot. And first touch your knees together. Now start to extend your foot back behind you. Kicking up and kicking back. Dancer. And then start to lift your gaze up also. Right hip a little bit down. And just stay here for 3. Breathe for 2. And then gently come back to center and bring your right ankle in front of your left knee. All right. Now bring your hands to your heart in prayer. And as your hips pull back, hinge forward. Take this slow. Maybe your hands come to your shin, your knee and ankle, or your hands come to the floor. All right, so we'll do this slowly together, but you're going to lift your left heel. And if toe stand is in your practice, you know exactly where we're going. Otherwise, you can also put your right foot on the ground to help you. All right, so we come into this toe stand. Balance. You can have your hands come to your heart. And then we're going to just lean forward until your knee touches the ground and your right foot will touch the ground. Might have to move back a little bit. Okay, so here we are in this position, and it's a pretty deep hip opener. So guide your right hip back and bring your chest down to the floor. So really it's all about your range of motion, and the shape that you go with your body is it's up to you. It's up to, really listening to how it feels and backing off, but before things become too sharp or before you can't breathe. That's important. So the next step is something pretty fun, but you can bring your elbows to the floor. Now you can drop your right knee on the ground, and this position is quite accessible to everybody, really. And when your elbows touch the floor, just make sure your elbows are no wider than your shoulders so your hands can wrap around your elbows. Stay like that. Again, this might be challenging with the mic, but if you've done my class, you know exactly where I'm going. Interlock the fingers in front of you, and then just drop the top of your head down to the ground. You're going to tuck your left toes under and start to come forward. Okay, let's reverse out of that, because I'm making you do something that's like kind of hard. Let's do it a little different, okay? Come up onto your hands. Let's change this. All right, so the top of your head's going to go on the ground, but you're going to bring your hands back, tripod, okay? Elbows are available as little shelves, and that's what we need. All right, so now lift the hips and take your right knee to the back of your right elbow. Right? And then start to lift your knees off of your arms. Straighten your spine. Good job. Are you breathing? For those of you who are like, I'm not really into that, do this. Just relax in a nice hip opener. If your feet are flying over your head, quietly, gently bring them back down. And then just swivel that back foot a little more forward so that you can push yourself back to a seated position. So position of the legs that might not be accessible to everyone. If that's you, then straighten out your left leg, put your foot on the ground. And just a little bit of movement with your hips from side to side. We're really getting into this right hip. And if you've got your legs crossed, bringing your knees a little closer together. Pushing the floor away from you as you sit up tall. Now, if your leg is out in front of you, you can stay like that. And if you have your knees crossed like this, your legs crossed, then bring your right hand beside you and your left arm long. A juicy side stretch. Even put your elbow on the floor. All right, and then come up and bring your left hand behind you. So your fingers are going to point away from your shoulder. And you're just going to lift your hips, position the left knee under the hip and the right foot back. Side plank. If you want to do a full expression of side plank, then position your also bottom left leg down and reach your right arm up. Take a full breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to high plank. Exhale, chaturanga, lower halfway. Upward dog, peel the shoulders back. And into downward dog. Take a full breath in. Exhale with empty lungs. Look forward. Hop or step. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Fold. And rise up. Lift your arms. Hands to your heart. Samastiti. All right. Right arm comes up. Left hand is going to reach for your left foot. Dancer. Knees come together. And start to kick up and back. Kick up, kick back. And just keeping your right arm lifted. Roll the left hip down a little bit. Wake up your fingers, your toes. Now find your full expression of this. Kicking up, kicking back. And then unravel. Take your left ankle above, in front of your right knee. And just bend your knees. So pull your hips back. Hands can meet in prayer and you can just hinge forward, or you can put your hands on your leg. So you see, we'll take our time in this. If your hands want to touch the floor, then allow that. Take your time. My left hip always wants extra time for this version. 2 more breaths. Lifting the right heel and finding that toe stand to balance. And then your knee can come to the ground and you might need to shimmy yourself back a little bit. Now, take your time once again to just put your elbows on the ground and lean your hips back. If your elbows don't touch on the ground, your hands are down, and that's enough, okay? Take your time. Take like 3 solid breaths here before the transition. And then where your elbows are, if that is, you put your hands where your elbows are. And the top of your head goes at like an imaginary top of what would be a triangle. It's called tripod. Headstand. Let your knee touch the back of your elbow. And then lift up when you're ready. And what you can also do is not do that and just hang out here. If your feet are over your head, you're going to just relax into about 3 or 4 more cycles of breath. Let your feet gently come down to the ground if they are floating over your head. Sit back on the right hip and either stack your knees or your shins, getting your legs over top of each other and level the hips, or quite possibly the right knee is bent and left ankle is on top. Level out your hips. And then take your left hand beside you and your right arm comes up. And just reach long through the side. Take your shoulders back a little bit. And then come up and bring your right hand behind you. All right, so with your right hand on the floor, you just lift your hips and the right knee is down underneath your hip. Side plank, left arm comes up. Full side plank, your both legs are straight. Lift your hips. And when you exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to travel forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, shoulders pull back, heart lifts up. And a downward facing dog. Lift your left leg and bring your knee forward to your wrist. I love pigeon, so you keep your ankle close to your groin. And your knee move it a little further out to the left. All right, so your ankle is in close to your groin. I'm going to face you just so that you can see what I'm going for. If your knee doesn't like this and this does not work for you, there's most likely another variation you've been shown at some point, and go into that. Another version you can do would be this pose, deer pose. It's a yin posture, but you're not putting all your weight forward on this leg, so it relieves it, but you can still get into a nice hip stretch. So if you're with me on the full pigeon, again, it's stay on the top of that left foot, and your knee can open as much as you want if you can really open it up. Then turn your body towards the right and start to extend out to the right. And then you can drop down as you do this. Drop in. And just listen to the sound of your breath. So dropping in is a thing. We're all doing it right now. We actually have to do it without being able to go out and be distracting ourselves. We got to stay in. And that can be a really good thing. Just to really look at the things that matter. See what's working, what isn't. And then making those changes. See if you can unravel and just sink in a little deeper into this posture. And then come back up with your chest and let your left hip touch the ground. Right foot comes out and left foot goes out. Okay. Take your right ankle or right foot to the inside of your left leg. And just turn to your left toes with your hands behind your back, or your hands lifting up even if you want. Straighten your spine a lot. And then like your sits bones pull behind you, you're going to lead your heart towards your toes. Fingers can reach around your foot or your ankle. Drop your head. Relax the right shoulder. And then come up and take your right hand behind you. Lift your hips up and just a sneaky little back bend in here. Take your right knee underneath of your hip. Press into the right hand. And so getting into this is not accessible to everyone, so you might have to adjust how you're getting into it. Just don't push it too hard, please. Left knee, also put it on the ground. I like to tuck my toes under and just bring my right hand closer till it touches my right ankle. Camel. Left hand can reach back, and then you can change it out. You can swap the left hand down, your right arm up. And then it's always like a reverse in the same way that we went in. So start with the right hand down to the ground, lift the left knee, and step back into that side plank variation. Then lower the hips and turn towards the left toes. Now you might be facing in a totally different direction, so that's all good. Just a seated position. Sits bones pull back, lift up, and hinge forward. Drop your head. One thing you can do too that feels really quite supportive, and especially if my low back is is bothering me. Put your arms under your knees, like so, and give yourself a little hug. All right, and then just heels pull back, knees bend and lift, and then you find yourself in this boat pose. Okay, in boat you can straighten your arms and legs if you want to. You can just make sure that your spine is straight. Your knees might need to bend, and then we're just gonna cross one foot over the other, hands in front of you, and just popping back into a downward dog. If you want to cycle through a vinyasa, go for it. Upward facing, and then downward facing dog. The right knee comes forward. And I'm just going to face you to show you this. The heel is close to your groin. Your knee opens up. Sit up tall. And then when you're ready, come down. Sorry, come back up to center. When your knee is off to the right quite a bit, just bring yourself towards the left. So it's like your low belly goes over top of your right heel. And then drop in. And that steady pulse and breath is with you. It's the constant in your practice, so listen to it. Let your thoughts just move on out of the way as many times as you can. It's so important just to not make logic of anything at the moment. And not try to understand something too much. Rather just enter these spaces of freedom. Nothing's expected of you, and stress just really falls away. Just stay for a couple more breaths. And then come up. Left foot out, right foot out. And left foot comes to your inner thigh. Turn your body so you're looking towards the right toes. Sit up tall. And then just hinge forward. Maybe your fingers come around your foot. Or your ankle. Or not. All right, and then come up and bring your left hand behind you so that you can lift into this really nice kind of expression of wild thing. Tuck your left knee underneath your hip and your toes under, and then your right knee also down. You're going to move your left hand closer to your ankle and just fly into this half camel. And then when you're ready, go to the other side if you did on the other side. Just working with your range of motion. And then just reverse out of this. So left hand goes down. Right arm extends long. Left hand to the ground. Right foot out. And then lower your hip to the ground. All right, facing the right foot, that's extended out. Hips are level. And we'll just bring the feet in together. So a lot of times I cue the feet away from the hips. Bring your feet in a little closer and slide your arms or your hands underneath your ankles or your shins. Now, take it so your hands are under your ankles, and then push the elbows. So bend your arms and push the elbows down into your inner thighs to push towards the ground, and then hinge forward from there. Hinge forward to bring your head closer to your feet. All right, and then just come back up and bring your right knee in, lift your foot up and over, a little twist, turn to the right. Your elbow can also go outside the knee, or you can just pull the knee in, twist. And then when you turn and twist to the other side, your right hand is going to reach around your left foot, and you're going to bring your left hand to the ground in front of you. Baby grasshopper, right foot goes on the ground, and you can just lift off, pull your heart forward, and then bring your hip back down to the ground. Change your legs, right foot out, left knee in, left foot over. Pull your knee in and twist to the left. And same kind of twist you did on the other side. I'll just show you this. A counter twist. Turn towards the right. And then, oops. Yeah, there we go. Okay, left hand reaches around your foot and right foot or right hand away so that you can lift your hips and balance. Pull your heart forward. All right. Now, this is the point, and this is the part where you can go into Shavasana, or you can join me in the next inversion section. So we'll have about 5 minutes to hold an inversion. If you would rather just relax into Shavasana, I'm not going to talk much at all in the inversion. So this is where I will say my goodbyes and offer a sincere gratitude for joining me today. So you can take your hands at your heart. And the light in me honors and sees the light in you. Namaste. So take a Shavasana if you would like. And I'm just going to set up some chairs. I'll, if you don't have any chairs, fold up chairs available. Then enter an inversion that's accessible to you, maybe a handstand or a headstand, something that you can hold for 5 minutes. And if a handstand and headstand are not available for you, but you still want the benefits of an inversion, then you just need something to prop your hips higher than your heart. And you can do something like this. So anytime your pelvis is higher than your heart, and there's this sort of like downhill slope from your feet to your head, that's an inversion. So you can do that. You can put your feet on the wall. Just prop your hips up a little bit. If you're in Shavasana, enjoy. I'm not sure how this is going to work with my mic, but I'm just going to show you this. So You want your chairs pretty close together that just your head will fit through. And you want the chairs on top of your yoga mat against the wall so that they can't slip. That's really important. So when you have that, your hands will grip here. The top of your head scooches down so that your shoulders rest on the chair. And then you can lift your feet up. And the reason why I love this is because my neck is free. Some people will put their feet against the wall. And others will just hold the feet up. So close your eyes and enjoy.